Perfect example right now. And I was just watching a video this morning by a pastor named Pastor Bryant, Jamal Bryant, up in Baltimore. And he had a video called, well, a sermon called Why a Man Must Find a Good Woman, right? And that was the message behind the video. And he gave an example of him speaking at this conference, and there's 200, out of 200 young men at this conference, 200 is a men's conference, 200 young men, and out of all 200 of them, only 7 of them came from a 2-parent home. So that, and this was a black, a black majority male conference. Now,
Interesting.
It's more, it's interesting. It was also alarming because when you think about it, in majority of our homes in the black community, we have, 70% of our homes are run by single mothers. 70%. 70. That's absurd. So what do you think? And I'm not asking you that. This is a rhetorical question because I'm going to answer your question shortly. But what do you think, and what do you all think who's watching on Facebook and Instagram, what do you think happens to a community or a home where the majority of the homes are run only by the mothers? You're going to have what you see today. You're going to have an abundance of homosexual activity. You're going to have an increase in the LGBT community.
Is this a question? Because I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It was skipped. Is that question directed towards me to answer, or is it rhetorical?
Yeah. Okay, you couldn't hear me. I was saying that was a rhetorical question, and as I get ready to answer your question, I was, asking rhetorically, what do you think happens when you have such a large number of homes run by single mothers? And so someone answered the question. You on Instagram says you have a broken community. What's up, the real black? So this is what we're getting right now. We have an abundance of homes where there is no providing, protecting by the fathers, and so the mother is led to be the nurturer. The mother is led to be the psychologist. She's led to be the cook. She's led to be the counselor. She's there to be the coach, the motivator. That's just too much to ask for, and as men, we actually have a caring side, even though we're taught not to cry, we're taught not to express our emotions, to hold it in. But in fact, we have a lot of emotions that we want to share, But many people, especially society and the media, they project that men, that we don't cry, our feelings don't get hurt. That's far from the truth, because I remember vividly crying, almost crying, I didn't break down crying, just between me and you, Instagram, but when a woman broke my heart, like I remember like tears kind of get ready to come out my eyes, but being taught that you're a man, you're strong, that you shouldn't even, this shouldn't even bother you, it did bother me. I was hurt by it, this was the love of my life, and she just literally, walked out. So it's definitely a false that men aren't nurturers, that we don't have feelings and we don't care.
I feel like it would be beyond an ignorance thing for anybody at any point to make men don't feel, because that's between feeling and nurturing. There's a huge difference when it comes to that. As a mother of boys, I do understand that they do have a certain, like men, like there's not really that much of a difference except for what we are taught as we get older.
Correct.
But with that being said, although I feel like males can be nurturing as far as like providing certain teachings to their children. Give me 1 second.
No worries.
Stop it. Go sit down and go play. Go draw. I am doing something and right now you are being rude. I do not like it. Please go sit down and play. Okay. But as far as the nurturing part goes, I feel like one of the things that we don't acknowledge that life without the woman. And it's not to take away
Exactly.
the male, because it comes together in balance. The male gives the seed. The seed is propagated by the female and brought forth into becoming something a lot more. However, we have to think about equity, because I feel like a lot of the times people are screaming equality, and they're not preferencing things the way that they need to. Although as a male and a female, we both got limbs and stuff like that. So if I can cook, you can cook too. There are certain things that is primarily for females. Like as far as nurturing goes, it's primarily for females. And I'm not saying for females, that's like that's our only job.
Correct.
But if we were percentage, naturally would be 70% nurturing, whereas males may be 30%. And it's not a bad thing or anything like that. It's just the way that nature intended, so that things can be balanced. Because whereas women are more nurturing, males are more focused, more direction focused. Because even if you look at the different energies, females, the female energy is more adaptive. It's more flexible, whereas the male energy is more cut, like straight, turn, whatever. It's more, it's a lot more focused, to say.
Okay.
So with that being said, we can acknowledge the fact that males have emotions. Males should be allowed to cry if they feel the need. Males are human, or just as human as females are, but I feel like it would be misconstrued to say that males are just as nurturing as females are. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. Of course. I mean, that's the whole purpose. Like you said, there's the balance in life, and that's the reason why women, you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. And just like men, we have our strength and we have our weaknesses. And so we work together to create a cohabiting environment where we both are strengthening our weaknesses. And so, of course, just like, I'm strong in fixing things, and you may be weak in that. So allow me to do that. We all have a role to play in order to create that winning equation, So it's all about creating that winning equation. However you want to define it, however you guys label it, as long as you two are creating that winning equation. And only time and energy and effort is going to, reveal that, because I'm sure you being married. How long have you been married, Queen?
I've been with my man for about to be 6 years now.
You see that? And congratulations, by the way. And because if you were single, I definitely would have tried to talk to you, and because you seem to be a very knowledgeable, and you understand the balance of life, and just, and that's very important, to have a queen that is supportive, having a queen that understands that, she is a goddess. As you're a goddess, I'm a god, and together we're having a human experience on earth, like our ancestors believed in Kemet and Kush.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that comes together to just it's all about elevation,
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the times,
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Because one of the somebody just commented and said that males are stronger, and I feel like we have to start defining certain words for ourselves, because we don't realize that we are using these words whose definition sometimes are not correct. The definitions may not necessarily be aligned. And the reason why I say this is, to say male is stronger, you're going to have to go deep when it comes to that. Because if you say males are stronger, in what sense?
Exactly.
Because
it's different. Mm-hmm.
Biologically, males cannot handle pain the way that females are. That is one of the reasons why we're able to push our children anyways, because we're in a lot of pain when it comes to labor and childbirth.
Hey,
so
thank God for that.
What strong
Right.
You know, do you mean stronger as far as like muscles go? Do you mean stronger as far as like mental capacity? Do you mean stronger as far as like persistence? What does that mean by being stronger? And if you're talking about being physically stronger, that's not something that's necessarily permanent, because I work out week on my muscles and my man don't work out at all, there is a very likely to be stronger than him at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Biologically, it says because of the hormones that we have as women, we are stronger when it comes to persistence. We are able to withstand large amount of pain but continue on. You know, that is one of the reasons why I feel like the Black woman is so powerful, because having melanin put together with the other biological components, such as different hormones, make it so that, like, we're almost indestructible as people.
Oh, wow.
When it comes to, like, the Black woman.
Indestructible.
From my standpoint.
Right. No, I like it. That's a very powerful word, you know, indestructible. And you're right. Strength comes in different forms. It could be I'm more stronger than you mentally or emotionally, and or vice versa. So those weaknesses are supposed to be made stronger through the balance of the energy and us understanding our strengths. And the only way you're gonna do that is by what? Time and effort. And of course, you're gonna have some bumps in the road. And so I want to ask you this question, because it's something that I discussed in my book for those who don't know. And I want you to also mention, before I forget, what was it about my book that intrigued you the most? But before I get into that, I wanted to ask, what do you think are the two things that made you and your king strong, that they gave you guys the lasting power to remain together?
I think the two things that made us strong was a certain level of compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people say communication, but it's communication on a deeper level.
Right.
One thing that I was having this conversation with one of my best friends recently. My communication style and his is not the same. Part of the reasons why our relationship is the way that it is because I am able to see things from his actions. I feel like I observe more than I listen, because subconsciously sometimes people do not realize the shadow things that they have going on, because it's automatic. So they're not consciously aware of the different stuff that may be happening.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of things that came up within my relationship that my man was not even aware was happening, but I could see it, because I am able, like, I look at everything. I don't care about what you say. I care about what you do.
What you do, right.
And when you do something, whatever it is that you do, it always make me question and want this person to do this, and to make this particular decision. So communication, but because I think the communication, they only think about the words. You say this, I say that. It's way more than that, because the subconscious stuff affects everything, although it's not consciously in the front of the mind all the time.
And I agree with you on that. Queen, do me a favor. Don't end the video, but get out of Instagram and then go back on it, because your face is frozen. And that was a good point.
Okay, hold on.
And just exit out and come right back in it. Like, but don't end it though. But yeah, you guys heard the Queen, what she was saying.
Is it working now?
Maybe it's my end. Hold on, let me get out of it. Oops. So I gotta get back. Okay. Well, it's not working yet, but I hear you though. It's just frozen. Yeah, someone. Yeah, but no worries. I'm sure it'll pop back on eventually. And that's a very good point at what you were saying. Your actions people say that your actions speak louder than words. I truly believe that your actions speak for themselves. So it's not exactly what you say, but what you do. But repeat that again.
Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. I hear you loud and clear. We just can't see you.
Oh my gosh. What's funny is I don't know, like, should we end it and then do it again? I'm not exactly sure.
You can. I'm live on my Facebook, so it's all good. And I wanted to add you on Facebook, to be honest with you, but because it seems like there's a lot of people that wants to say a few things on here.
Okay, hold on. Like, technology. I need you to work, technology.
Hey, you gotta ask the ancestors to get it to work. You know what I'm saying? But that was a good point that you made. So do you want to end it and jump back on? Because I'm still live on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'll end it and come right back on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Love you too.
Hey, Mrs. Christia. All right, just add me. But yeah, we're going live. We're having this video discussion on the balance of harmony in our lives and relationships. You know, with Queen Celeritia. You know, she's out of Pompano, and it's funny. And when she goes back live, I'm definitely gonna get back into this conversation with her. But you know, we both from Pompano, literally blocks away from each other. We never met each other physically, perhaps spiritually. We both went to the same school, college, Florida Atlantic University, same area in Pompano. Both are Haitians, and our parents are from the same part of Haiti. You know, so I reached out to her on Instagram one time after watching her a couple of her videos and seeing what she was about. And I was like, man, I know if I get her, you know, to read my book, she'll like it, because she's always talking about queens and goddesses and kings and balance of energies and crystals and natural beauty of things and being a natural queen. She had dreads. I said, yeah, she's gonna love this book. And so I sent her a copy, ebook of the book. And you know, and she literally read it in a matter of a couple of days, and you know, contacted me, and you know, said she'd like to do a video, which was the whole point. You know, I need to get more queens and goddesses behind me. And by the way, we are having a screening this Saturday coming up. We're having a screening this Saturday coming up. A short film screening, a networking event, fashion show on the weekend right before, you know, the holidays, Christmas and New Year's. So, and also Kwanzaa. As a matter of fact, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but Saturday is going to be quite a busy day. I have to be in North DeKalb Mall for the event. Not sure what time they're having the, I believe it's going to be in the afternoon, but I have to be at the Cleveland Library here in Atlanta, Cleveland Avenue Library in Atlanta. For the Kwanzaa event, I'll be speaking there, and then I have to rush off to the other event to be a vendor and to be interviewed by HLN 360 Studios at North DeKalb Mall. So, you know, anybody in Georgia, you know, tell me to check us out. But yeah, definitely, you know, and I've been sending out some very positive videos as of recent days. I've dropped 2 videos on YouTube, real short, quick, 3-minute videos, 4-minute videos on YouTube, just to get people to get inspired. You know, I don't think I promoted any of my projects on there, but I'm quite sure once, you know, people read and listen to the actual video and the contents called Hang On. You know, I remember many years ago when I first, before I released my stage play, I was studying and watching a lot of Tyler Perry videos and reading his newsletters that he used to email me and the people who subscribed to his email newsletter. And he mentioned something about hanging on many years ago, and I remember that message. And he spoke about the struggle that he had to go through to become this, you know, prolific and celebrated filmmaker. and inspirational speaker. And it really resonated with me well because I can relate. Being someone that actually went through quite a few things and challenges in my life, I definitely want to encourage everyone who is facing some type of adversity to not give up, keep pushing forward, keep believing, and keep striving, because at the end of the day, and the beginning of the day, you have to believe in yourself, because there will be adversity. There will be adversity, and this new year coming up, those things, those challenges that you were facing this year in 2018, if you still face, you will be facing those things in 2019 if you don't correct them now. So we have about, 10, 12 days left of the year, approaching 2019. I want you guys to approach this year a little different than the previous year. I don't want you to just get all hyped up, in the hoopla. It's a new year and new blessings and this and that. No, you've been doing that long enough. I want you to think about next year that's coming up a little different. I want you to smile going into 2019, not because you already have the victory, because you already do, so that's a given. I want you to smile going to 2019, knowing that you have all that you need, the provision for the vision. Think about the provision that God will provide for you for the vision that you have for yourself and your family, your business, your marriage, your relationships, whatever the case may be. Because it is too easy to give up. It's too easy to throw in the towel. It's too easy to cave in. It's too easy for that. And many of you, and some of you have been friends of mine for a very long time and supporters for God knows how long. But I want you to just know this, that no matter what you go through in life, no matter how the end result is, make sure that you prepare yourself with those provisions that you have. Provisions meaning, the resources, the support, having the proper plan. If you're not planning for success, you're planning to fail. It is what it is. Many of you are grown adults. I'm about to be 39 in less than 2 months. I'll be 39. It was exactly about 2 months in February. And many of you who I know going to school with, we are the same age, but you have yet to write a life plan for yourself. Those of you in your 30s and your 40s, your 50s, you have to have a life plan for yourself, something that's written down, And do you know that by writing your dreams and goals down, you literally give your chance a 1,000% increase of success. Writing your dreams and goals down. Let me repeat this again. Having your dreams written down, your goals written down, you increase your chances of success by 1,000%. 1,000%. Now, this is proven because you are writing what you actually believe yourself to accomplish. So if you're not writing, taking the time to write it down, then you're not really taking yourself seriously. And as a businessman myself, many of you don't know that I do provide marketing and consulting services for authors and for business owners getting traffic to the website. And before I actually work with anybody, I don't care what level, I don't care if you got a Bentley or you got a hoopty, I ask them this question, via email, several questions, and I want them to answer those questions, so I can test and see whether or not they are serious. And if they don't have those things written down, then I know they're not serious about their business, but they just want to waste my time. They just want me to get all emotionally involved in their project when they don't really take their own project seriously. So if you really take your dreams and goals seriously, then you will take the time to write it down. If you're not writing it down, you're not taking it serious, I'm not going to take you serious. No one would take you serious. And if you don't take your own goals and dreams seriously, why should anybody else? And that's the bottom line. And we all have things we want to accomplish. Speak the blessings of yourself. Write the blessings. We speaking them all the time, but write them. Actually take the time to write them down. Let me show you guys something. I have this journal here, right? I've had this journal since 2012. And this journal here has about 62, 63 goals that I wanted to accomplish in my life. There's about 63. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I actually accomplished about 15 to 16 of these goals over the past, 7, 8 years. And this is vitally important because by you writing those things down, you giving your chance a huge chance to actually accomplish your goals. You have the opportunity to win.
About your business, like what do you
This is what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Writing those things down.
Incorporate mind and body.
And I'm about to get back on the show. She got me back on. But hey Queen, how you doing? You know, I was just going into describing to everybody while we were on our quick recess about writing their goals and dreams down. Hey, how you doing?
Okay, so were you live the whole entire time and we're just not coming together?
Yes, I was live on Facebook. So, you know, I'm engaging with the people on Facebook, talking about their plans for next year. You know, I'm going to my whole inspirational mode. That video I sent you this morning, I kind of elaborated on what that video meant and why it's so important to go approach this new year a little differently. But me and you could talk about that another time. But they feeling me on Facebook with this though. So where are we, Queen?
Well, I was going to say, can you go ahead and send me the link to Facebook so I can see some of the conversations that's being had? So if I need to elaborate on some of the things that I'm saying, well, you know what? Let me just go and find you.
Yes. Send me find me on there. Hey, what's up? You're a beautiful blessing. Hear your message at a time such as this in my life. Thank you. You're very welcome, Tanya. And I definitely truly mean it too. So, you know, keep your head up and keep pushing forward. Yeah, send me a request on Facebook and not a request, but send me a request to join on live because I'm on here now. And I also
I'm not that good at using Facebook Live.
So what you do is
I see you.
go to my page, right? Go to my page, and there should be a button there saying request to join. It should be a button or something like that. Request to join or add you on the video.
Let me see. Send me the link to Facebook. Okay.
It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Join in. So keep the Instagram going, and then we're gonna jump in. So Miss Mind Body and Kai. Yes, I'm online health and fitness coach. I suffered from anxiety, depression for over 7 years. So I started to wake up and incorporate mindful practices and changing my lifestyle. That's what's up. And
yes. Her name is Kiara, because I don't want to just use that to call her. Like, her name is Kiara. She is very, very interesting.
Well, definitely, and believe it or not, actually, we're getting ready to have an event on February 16th at Clark Atlanta University dealing with depression. It is actually our 5th annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. We hosted on February 16th, a Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia. So everybody in Atlanta, Georgia, go to my website, KevinDorival.com. If you're in Georgia, period. Hey, what's up, brother Michael Shabazz? Hey, congratulations on the wedding, brother. Many blessings. Anybody's in Georgia, if you know someone in Georgia, share with them this link. Share with them my website. I'm going to post it here so that you can invite them to join us. We're dealing with mental illness. This year's theme for our annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. And we actually changed the title of the annual panel to Community Crime Solutions Panel because of political reasons. You know, we're getting so much friction from people who didn't like that title, you know what I'm saying? Because they feel as if that crime is, you know, mainly white people crime against black folks, which is true. But it does not refute the fact that we have a huge issue in our community with love for ourselves and for one another. So this year's theme is we're going to be discussing, thanks to Brother Bartholomew, Brother Jay on here. You're very welcome. Okay. See, I got your message, but I need you to actually request to be on camera. For some reason,
no, I don't know how to do this.
Click the different buttons. Click the different buttons on the bottom. You will see it.
I'm looking for buttons and
click for buttons around the screen.
I see
Continue watching. You know what I should do? Let me see if I can try to.
I see it says click to hide comments and reactions.
No.
Like, for some reason, like, say something so Kevin knows you're here. Okay, wait, hold on.
For some reason, you know, for some reason, even though I added you as a friend and I see your name on here, but it's not allowing me to actually. Everybody's name is popping up. It's funny because everybody's name is popping up on here, and it's telling me to add them. But for you, that add button is not there, so it may not be available to you. But I did add you. I did add you as your friend this morning. You're Cici Clerjuste on here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for some reason, it's not letting me add you. So I'm not sure why.
We just gonna have to make it do what it do. Then.
Yeah, we're just gonna do what it do.
I'm not at least we know for next time. But I am able to look at the comments, so I should be able to elaborate if need be based on the comments. But one thing I wanted to touch base on is question. Do you feel like within a relationship you own your woman? Like, do you feel like that's my woman?
I mean, and is that in relation? That question is a good question. Is that in relation to something you read in my book, Seven Types of Queens, or that's just a random question?
It stirred up some ideas within my
this
head
the book,
as
y'all.
I was reading.
Right.
Yes, it did stir up certain ideas in my head as I was reading, because the intro just brought up some stuff.
Okay, good things. I hope.
Of course, but I like different mindsets. I don't want to necessarily hear the same thing all the time, because you don't learn if all you listen to is yourself.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I like the different standpoints. I'm gonna go and grab the book right now so that I can further elaborate.
Okay.
But can you go ahead and answer me that question?
Yes. Actually, as a man, as a king, and as a servant, because every king is a servant, every queen is a servant. I truly believe, like, when I'm with my woman, the last time I was in a real relationship, which a couple of years ago, I feel as if, like, yes, I do believe that, she's mine, that and I'm hers. I feel as if her vagina is mine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying not to say it, but just to be real, like, that's my coochie. You know what I'm saying? And this is your dick. You feel me? And your time and energy. I want that time and energy, and I want to give you mine, because I have to protect you, have to provide for you. Therefore, we kind of owe it to each other. You know what I'm saying? So every man wants to feel as if, and I want Michael Neil Shabazz, who just got married. Congratulations to the brother. He got married somewhere in the islands. I forgot where he got married at, but beautiful wedding. They were doing it live on Facebook, which is pretty cool. And you can chime in if you want, brother. I feel as if, like, I have to, feel as if, like, you're mine. Not that I own, that I control you, but we own each other. You know what I'm saying? There's some sort of ownership. There's some sort of responsibility. Because if I don't feel that way, then I don't feel responsible for making sure that, you got gas in your car, making sure that, there's your bank account is not empty, or that you're able to, shop, how you want to shop. And I feel as if you're not responsible for making sure that I'm eating correctly, or that my clothes, is nice. You know what I'm saying? Some women feel as if they have to dress me. So I let them do that, because she feels as if, like, I'm hers, so she has to go out and buy me clothes, because this will look good on you. So it's a responsibility that we both owe one another, especially when we are married. Whether we're married through the cook. If we're married by the book, through the court system, or we create our own union once we exchange energy, especially sexual energy, because once you exchange sexual energy, now you're in a bond. Now you're in a knot. In Seven Queens, I talked about the wisdom knot. In many marriages, and even to this day, especially in Europe, different parts of Asia, have you ever seen in the wedding ceremony where they have a knot and then they tie the knot? You ever seen that before?
I think so. I don't see it frequently, but I'm pretty sure I've run across something like that.
Right, and that's an ancient tradition, because many cultures feel as if, once you were married, now the wisdom between you two are tied together in a bond. Now there's a soul tie. There's positive soul ties and there's negative soul ties. Some people may say good and evil, but now that our souls are intertwined. The knot really means intertwined between the two worlds, the two people. And so once we're in that knot together, now we are responsible for one another. So yes, I do feel as if a man owns his woman and his woman owns him.
Okay, that's very interesting because I disagree with that 100%. Because
that's fine.
I don't believe that. I feel like humans cannot be owned. So I feel like for you to feel like you own me,
right,
is to objectify me.
Okay.
Because people, and that's very similar to how I feel when it comes to parenting. Because although I push out my children, I don't feel like I own my children.
Okay.
I feel like I took the responsibility to help guide my children, but I don't own my children. And with that, like, the reason why I asked that question is because I feel like that is a mainstream thought. Is it possible for you to put your thing on mute, because I'm hearing myself, so it's kind of like throwing me off. But I feel like to feel like you own, like, because as you were talking, what I got from what you were saying was, in order for you to feel responsible for your partner and the relationship, you feel like you have to own them. But if you own someone, it's not a partnership.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So
unless you own each other.
How can we have a partnership? What did you say?
I said yes, you're right. Unless we own each other.
But the thing is, do you want to be objectified? Because
no.
I feel like you don't want to be objectified.
Right.
Because I feel like, okay, here, the reason why I say this is because I think a lot of the times people get into relationships and they try to project ownership onto other people, which end up stripping the person of autonomy. Autonomy meaning freedom to be, freedom, free will.
Okay.
I feel like when you get into a relationship and you start to speak in a sense like you own the person, like, okay, that's my vagina. It's not your vagina. It's my choose to ship. Like, I feel like there's when it comes to that with European powers, but try to enslave the person in the relationship with that we own them. Although you feel like the other person own you too, but why be owned at all? Why do you have to own me? Why can I not just make the decision to share myself with you?
I mean, maybe the wordplay was kind of wrong on that. But at the end of the day, like, just to be honest, that's how I see it. That's how I feel. And I want some of these men to chime in. Do they agree with me on that? Because I want my woman to feel as if, like, what I'm saying, that I'm hers and that you're mine, and I don't mean in bondage or, in slavery, anything like that. And you're right about the one point that we wouldn't want to own anybody, that we're not supposed to own anybody, or we can't own anybody. However, that's not true. You look at history, slavery been going on since the beginning of the time. So people have been owning the other person, right or wrong. That has been going on. But in relationships,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? But in relationships, I don't mean it in a way that, some guys get into their whole chauvinistic, male attitude, and they want to beat a woman because they feel as if, I own you. You're going to do what I say, when I say it. When I say jump, you ask me how high. Don't ask me no questions. Just do what I tell you. I'm not saying like that. I'm not talking about a totalitarian type of relationship. It's something where there's a balance of harmony and peace, where we both feel responsible for one another. I'm responsible for not just providing, protecting you physically, but also protecting your emotions as well, and being mindful of that. Growing up as a young man until now, I'm 38 years old. I am single, by the way, just to put it out there. So, but uh, now I got to put a little humor in there. But at the same time, I began to realize as I was getting to know women or dating that, emotionally, that's very important. Like, I never really paid too much attention about the whole emotional aspect. It wasn't until my last relationship and in writing Seven Queens that I began to realize how emotionally, how much emotions play in the essence of a woman. And all it could be good or bad, because sometimes some women use their emotions and their emotional roller coasters, they're up and down, because they are broken or still broken from what some guy or some male in their life done to them, or abused them physically, sexually, or even mentally. And so as I began doing research and interviewing happily married men on what made them choose their wife, what made them select her out of all other women, and that's when they started revealing to me some of the issues that they had to deal with and overcome with their woman. And some of them had to seek counseling. It wasn't something that a relationship can fix, because a lot of people, particularly women, but men as well, we get into these relationships because we want you to make us whole. No, that's not. You should be whole already. A man or woman coming to a relationship is to complement a person, complement your life and your lifestyle, to help you elevate, increase in consciousness, increase in your spirituality, your growth, and love for one another, and love for yourself. You should already be in love with yourself, because there's no way you can love someone wholeheartedly and you not love yourself. And so that's where I'm at with that.
I do. I like some of the points that you make, because I agree with you. If you don't love yourself, you cannot be happy within a relationship.
Correct.
Because you project you project what's in you out. So if you have not accepted yourself, if you have not loved yourself, it's really hard for you to, not really hard, it's literally impossible for you to love somebody else, because you will only love them to the depth of the love that you have for yourself. I do agree with that. It's just like, I do talk sometimes, I feel like, based on my understanding, it seems like there's slight contradictions, because you talk about the two halves, the male and the female, complementing each other.
Correct.
But you also talk about ownership. So I feel like, how can something complement each other? Because for something to complement each other, I feel like they would have to have equal stance, a certain level of equity. If there's any type of ownership, how can there really, because ownership as in you're mine. Because you're mine, you should only do this for me. Or you should only, isn't it better or deeper, truer, more meaningful to have somebody, to not own somebody, but have them make the choice to be you, the choice but choosing you, a lot more profound than, okay, well, because we're together, I'm not going to cheat. Instead of, I choose to not cheat because I want to be with you. You get what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Because I feel like the ownership thing relates a lot to a lot of the polygamous things that I'm seeing right now. The whole stance that, as a male, I can have multiple wives, but if a female is out here with multiple males, it seems to be wrong, right? So it's like, when you start throwing words like ownership around, I feel like it can easily be misconstrued, because to own something means you control it, right?
Control or influence.
And you really want
right.
to control or influence.
Influence.
But
both mean the same thing.
The thing is, not necessarily, because control is with force. Influence happens at influence me or not. Like, if I see somebody drinking more water, based on how I feel about what they're doing, I may choose to drink a lot more water. But control is, you're going to do this because I say so. You're going to do this. If you don't do this, there's going to be some type of repercussion that may end up causing you pain. I don't feel like control and influence is the same thing.
Yeah,
so
to a degree, yes. To a degree that no, go ahead, finish your thought, Queen.
Yeah, I was because I also have a female that chimed in. Hi, Kim Chris, how are you? And she was saying similarly to what I said. She don't feel like people belong to other people, you know, because like.
Come on now, you don't really agree with that. You don't really agree with that, do you? That my children, no person belongs to one another. My children do not belong to me. We choose to share our time and space.
As somebody that has pushed out my children and been with them every hour of every day since they've been here, I full-heartedly believe that I do not own my children. I take the responsibility to care for my children. I take the responsibility to guide my children. However, I don't own my children. My children are not anything to be owned. My children are their own person. And I say this to them. I say this to like my 1-year-old. I say this to my 4-year-old. When I see them trying to control, when I see my oldest trying to control what my youngest is doing, like he is his own person. You can't control him. If you are your own person, I can't own you. You're not an object. Because for me, in order to own you, I have to know how you came together. I can't make skin. I do not know how to make skin.
But you know how to make babies, though.
I don't know how to make babies. I know how to have sex.
Well, you definitely successfully. You successfully had two beautiful young boys, right?
Yes, I successfully. I have 2 children. I know how to have sex. I don't know how to make a person.
Well, let me ask you this question. Because this is a very interesting point here. Because, control, influence, and ownership, partnership, and there are how many black men are in prison right now? Black women and men. There's like over 1 million. Because I think the population is 2-something million. The prisons own these individuals up to a certain amount of time, or even for the rest of their life. Unfortunately, I have a brother serving a life sentence right now. The prisons own them.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I have a friend of mine serving life sentence as well. That's also why I started the Black on Black Crime Solutions panel, was because of, we deal with things like that. We address those issues and come up with solutions. Because we can talk about the problems all day, all night, but if there's no solutions and tangible solutions and action plan to take part, these things will continue. Now, I asked that question. So, first of all, do you agree the prisons own these individuals?
Yes, because they're enslaved. They don't have free will. If they want to get up and walk away, they can't.
That's a good answer. However, the same goes with your children, or anybody's children. They're your responsibility because they're under your household. And when you're in a relationship, and if you're married, I've never been married yet, and I do plan on being married myself one day soon. So pray for me on that, Queen. I need the guys and goddesses.
I got you, man. I got you. I'm sending love all. I got you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But go ahead.
But what point I'm trying to say before we move on and discuss the point of this video, your children in your home, your husband and wife in the home, everyone that's within under that household is owned by whoever. So if you're the king, queen of the home, those children, they're under your ownership, your responsibility. And if we're in the castle together, we in our hut, we in our mansion, we in our one-room shack, we are in it together. Therefore, we have ownership of that home, and we're responsible for one another. That's all I was saying. I wasn't saying that this was chattel slavery and you do what I say and you know, shut your mouth when I say so. None of that. I'm just saying we're sharing ownership, and as parents, you are you know, you're sharing ownership of the children. I have a mentoring program where we teach, you know, chess to the students. When those students are in our classroom or in my classroom, I own those children because they are under my responsibility. I don't let any outside entities come in. You know, there's, okay, for example, I remember there was a couple of times where, you know, some guys wanted to come in to volunteer and just help with teaching the chess to the children. And me being, those children being my responsibility, and those parents gave me that responsibility, the libraries and the schools gave responsibility. I do not allow anybody, male or female, just to come in and infiltrate or even to try to help without first having a clearance through the background check of BSO. When I was doing that back in South Florida, I'm in Atlanta now, so now everyone has to get approved through the Atlanta police station first. Far as, you know, no sexual abuse cases, no violence charges, and, you know, then they can apply to be a mentor. So as long as you are under my roof, or our roof, we own each other. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I was trying to say, Your Grace. Now, I would love to hear your question, at least one question specifically regarding the book. But you can rebut if you like, or if you agree, disagree. But that's what I was saying.
I'll do a quick rebuttal, but
yes, ma'am.
I feel like we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this. Because I feel like you keep putting together ownership with responsibility.
Yes.
With even with partnership, and to me that kind of goes against it, because it's like, how can you have a partner if you own the person? Like, because okay, ownership to me, it means that there is a hierarchy. One person is here, and the other person is here. Even if both people own each other, that means that if I feel like I own my man, that means I'm putting myself here, I'm putting him here. If he feels like he owns me, he's putting himself here and me. Even as you talk about the relations between parentally, from some of the words that you're using, it's making me here as a parent and the children here. Because ownership, there has to be a certain level of hierarchy, because it's like, you know, and personally to me, and any relationship, whether that be a friendship, my relationship with my children, my relationship romantically with my man, everybody's free. Like, the reason why I can, you know, tell my children certain things, or like have certain rules for my children, is only because right now they do not understand the dynamics of which they live. Once they get to a point where they understand the dynamics of Earth, they are free to do whatever they want. They are free to make the decisions that they want. If I feel like I own my children, if my children grow up and they decide they don't want to have locks, I would have a problem with it. Because if I own you, you got to do what I say. If I own you, that means I know better. I own you.
Good point.
That's like, because if you
and you do know better.
If you look at the mission,
but you do know better because what? You're the parent. They're new to the world, so you should know more than they do.
But here's the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the thing. I'm the parent, and I know a lot about this world.
Yeah.
However, my spiritually world might have been dulled as far as their spirits go. So, and I say this to people all the time, I learn so much more from my children than I learn from regular people. So I can't be walking around here like I don't know better than my children. I know what I know. And based on what I know, I teach those things that I feel like are good. Just like they teach me. You may have to go through parenting yourself
Yeah,
because
I
I
can't
feel
wait to
like
do that.
before I became a parent,
Right.
yeah, before I became a parent, I did feel like that because I was taught that, you know. You feel like, okay, I'm a parent, I know everything. That's not true.
No, of course you're not
We
gonna
don't
know
know everything.
everything, but you're
But
not.
like,
Of course, you're not gonna know everything.
but we feel
It's a
like,
learning process, right? It's like you as. I don't mean I have children myself biologically, but I've raised my nephews. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned a lot about myself watching them. It's like a reflection. But at the end of the day, and in the beginning of the day, um, just like a child, or even my woman, if we're out in public, or even at home, but if we're out in public, you know you're my responsibility. One of the biggest compliments a woman can never tell me, and they tell, and not there hasn't been one woman that has not told me this. They feel totally protected when they're with me. They feel they know that nothing's bound to go down, that ain't no harm is gonna come to them when they're with me, whether they're in my place or we out in public. And to me as a man, that feels good, you know. And now I'm not saying I own them because we out, but they are my responsibility. As a man, that's how men should feel and should go about life, knowing because we are the protectors first and foremost. We defend the home. You know what I mean? So I understand some
what
women,
if you can't?
huh? You said
What if you can't?
what then? What?
Because you're. What if you can't? What if you have
Yes.
like, because right now we live in a world of guns. Let's take away the guns real quick.
Okay.
Let's say
That's
we
fine.
live in a world of just pure strength, right?
Okay.
And I, as a woman, happen to work out a lot more or do something else. Like I pick up heavy children, and because I pick up heavy children, I have strong arms.
Okay.
What if I am able to, defend us physically better than you?
Then so be it.
Does that mean you're not a man?
It doesn't mean you're not a man, but
Because
at the same time, as a man, if I can't do something physically, let's say if you outstrengthen me, and by the way, nobody's gonna outstrengthen me because I just came from the gym, as you can see. Then
we're gonna have to put that to the test one day. But go ahead.
But then maybe I need to come up with some sort of surveillance of the home, or put up cameras, or set up some traps or something. I'm going to do something. A man's natural instincts is to protect. That's to defend. Point blank. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's us. That's natural. This is what we're about. That's what I'm about. You know. And so, as I mentioned, I love it when a woman tells me that she feels safe around me, because then it fans my ego, you know what I mean? Because men, we have egos, and one of those things is knowing that we are able to defend our homes, defend our woman. You know what I'm saying? And I work out not just so I can defend my woman, so I can defend myself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the law of nature. Period. Is to be able to defend yourself, man or woman. You know. But by the way, ask me a question about the book, please, Queen.
Okay. Let's get off this because we can go for days.
We can actually do this again. We actually do this like. I love the subject about ownership and the dialogue, because it seems that your guests are like fiery hot about it. And
listen, my girls be hype out here.
Hey, I'm cool with that. Hey, I love the conversation because you forced me to think about it another way as well. But I still stand on the grounds, and I'm going to disagree with you, but I still stand on the ground that that you are my responsibility as my queen. My children are my responsibility, and but I love to have this conversation. We can definitely set up another time to just tackle that, because you gave me an idea.
Okay. We can definitely do that. I have a question.
Yeah.
As far as like the structure of the book, because you have a desire, right? And as you break it down by, let me make sure I'm naming the chapters correctly. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm going back up so I can
no worries.
Where is it? Okay. Yes. So as you break down the chapters, you break them down into a mother god, goddess, cooking queen, spiritual queen, a king builder, woman of faith, natural queen, sexy wise queen, and energy of both worlds, as well as warrior queen. Why do you separate those things? Why not have all of those attributes in one woman?
Well, the point of the book, towards the end, I posed the question that all women should feel as if they have an aspect of each of those different, components of a woman. Like, you should feel as if you're a sexy queen, you're a natural queen, you're a woman of faith, that you are a wise queen, or the other one, maybe even a warrior queen. You should feel that way. However, like when I speak at conferences, because I spoke at several conferences since I released this book last year. The most recent one was here in Morrow, Georgia. That's like south of Atlanta. And I asked the question. So the audience a question. It was a women's conference. So which of these 7 queens do you think you are? And each and every one of them said that they are all of them. And that's what you're gonna say. But in reality, there's going to be one of those types of queens that overpowers the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? You may be more of a natural queen than you are a spiritual queen. But at the same time, as I mentioned, I interviewed several happily married men on what attribute, what was it about their woman that made them select this one to be their queen. And the number one out of all of them, take a guess of which one it was.
Who? Cooking queen.
Well, that's my personal favorite. You know what I mean? But no, it's actually spiritual queen. Many of the guys, and not all of them went to church. Not all of them were, devoted Christians. Some of them were atheists. Some of them, many of them were, men of God. They love the Bible inside and out. They go to church quite often, and they have a strong spiritual connection with God. But spiritual queen was the number one because most of the men felt as if it was more important than a sexy queen, a warrior queen, a wise queen, to have a woman that knew how to pray, a woman that understood that there is more to life than what you see with your eyes. There's a lot more going on in the spiritual realm rather than what you see in the physical, because everything that happens in the spiritual, in the physical realm, what we see in reality, this present time and space, happen in the spiritual realm first. And so having a woman that can pray your dreams and goals to come together, a woman that understands that when there's times of trouble, not to just panic and faint and be so worried and depressed, but actually, be able to pray for you and pray with you. So that was the number one thing. And to be honest, even though I love to eat, home cooked meals, I'm very big on eating good, and I love to cook myself. I may not be the best cook, but I can do my thing. But the spiritual queen, I must admit, was my favorite chapter because back when before I moved here to Georgia, I've been here about 8 months, 9 months now. My pastor, Mrs. Yvette Brinson, Prophetess Brinson.
Give me like 2 seconds.
No worries.
I gotta do motherly duty thing.
No worries. I'll keep going. My pastor Yvette, she was a warrior queen. She also prayed a lot. You know what I'm saying? She was big on praying and talking about fighting the demonic spirits, and like she was very much a warrior spirit. Warrior spiritual type queen. And so she's probably the featured queen within this book. And not probably, but she is featured in that chapter, and also other several women that believed in praying and having a prayer life and meditating. Taking time to not just build yourself physically and wear all this weave and makeup, which is cool if that's your thing, but to also invest time not just on your outer beauty but your inner beauty, because the true crown of any woman, any man, but women specifically, the true crown of a woman is not anything you put on your head, but what's in your heart. That's the crown.
I agree. I agree. I guess this is, since we were in such big disagreement with the other part.
Yes.
This is what part we can come together with. I spiritually, as far as like the spiritual queen being the most important, other people were gonna choose the cooking queen because people act like they cannot live without food. They really do. Well, technically they can't live without food, but I'm saying like they act like it's everything all the time above anything else. Mm-hmm. So to actually find out that the spirituality of women as being an important thing actually makes my heart happy, because I personally feel like that is our truest power as women, is our spirituality. We're able to feel things on such a different level than that of males, you know, because I feel like the male energy and the female energy, although they complement each other, they're not the same. You know, the female need the male energy because it helps with focus and direction. However, the male need the female in adapt. When you can't adapt, you die. If you cannot adapt to your situation or cannot adapt to and adaptation does not necessarily mean giving up. It doesn't mean not doing anything about the circumstances, but it means being able to accept things and take it from that and change, like transforming it into something else. So the spiritual queen, I feel like spirituality should be something that is essence of being a woman, because energetically it makes it so that we can do the things that we do. Like sometimes, you know, as a woman that's a mother, you know, you may feel like you need to wake up in the middle of the night. All of that is spirituality. If you are